Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. So one of my subscribers, Luca Clemente, he sent me a clip of Sam Seder. Now, let me make sure I'm up first. Yeah, I'm up. I see myself shaking and moving inside. Yeah, so he sends me a clip of begging man Sam Seder. And I think I'd use the term submissive man in this particular title because the clip is going to speak for itself. But you've heard me make the point that the left, oh man, I swear, man, the far left, the Democrat reformists, the Democrat appeasers, the people who think that they can somehow change the party. We can get into the party. We can change it. Don't leave. Don't leave. We can change it. Yes, he hits me. He drinks too much. He snorts coke. He injects himself with heroin. He does cocaine. He throws me down the steps. He slaps me. He farts on my pillow. He refuses to wash his hands after he uses the bathroom. And he fornicates. He fornicates. But he says nobody else will love me, so I stay. He says nobody else will love me. He says nobody else will take me in. So I stay with this guy. I stay with him. Let's look at the clip. And after we look at the clip, we can talk about it after. This is immensely sad.
The answer is an unequivocal, would you still vote for Obama if he promises to build fewer concentration camps than Romney? The answer is an unequivocal, absolute yes. And in fact, I would go further. It is morally repugnant of you.
It is morally repugnant. It is morally repugnant. Let's keep going. I want to hear this. He's dropped the morality, the big M. It is morally repugnant. All right, let's see what Sam Seder thinks is morally repugnant. I'm curious.
If you believe that candidate A will create more concentration camps in this hypothetical than candidate B, to in any way aid or abet the election of that candidate A. Because I'm speaking in those terms because you're obviously writing to me with some type of moral righteousness. Look in the mirror and tell yourself that you are morally righteous because you would knowingly aid and abet someone who's going to create more concentration camps than less. Would you still?
The question is weird. It's funny because he gets pissed off. He's like, how dare this person thinks they're more moral than I am? The person asked a straightforward question. And granted, the question is somewhat stilted. But what the question boiled down to, I think what the person was getting at is this lesser of the two evils argument. If you know that both people are repugnant, why are you voting for either person? Now, Democrats go with this least worst thing. We're least worst. We're least worst. Apparently, Sam Seder buys this least worst argument. The problem is, over the course of the last 20, 30, 40 years, the party has shifted further and further and further to the right. And there's a reason. Because the Sam Seders of the world are willing to give up the credit card, are willing to be there at their beck and call, regardless of the situation. Sam Seder just said he'd vote for somebody who was building concentration camps. Now, I understand that you're making the case that one person is building fewer concentration camps, but the person's still building concentration camps. Put shit in perspective. And understand what that means. It's like, to what degree are you willing to do that? So if the person builds one fewer concentration camp, I mean, where are your standards? And at some point, do you just say, no, I don't want to be a part of this process? You understand that year after year after year, you being willing to vote for the guy who's going to build 2 or 3 fewer concentration camps, you're still putting somebody in that office who's building concentration camps. And do you believe that in any way voting for the person who's building concentration camps is going to in any way stop concentration camps? One year after the next, after the next, after the next. And the next guy builds one additional concentration camp, but less than a Republican. And Sam Seder continues to allow that political process to continue. It's not that the guy who builds more concentration camps is better. That's not it, Sam. That's not it at all. It's that if you look at the political strategy itself, the political strategy would allow concentration camps to persist in perpetuity. That's the point. It's at which point do you say, okay, I am bailing out of this process. I am no longer going to take part of this process. And one of two things is going to happen. That party is either going to fail. And look, I am not blind to the batshit craziness of Republicans. I get it. They're nuts. They're maniacs. They're off the political spectrum. Fair enough. Why do you think they're off the political spectrum? That's not an operative question. I mean, certainly, as the Democratic Party has moved further and further to the right, yeah, the Republican Party has also moved further and further to the right. What did you think they were going to do? Just say, okay, well, these guys slid over my way. The Democratic Party didn't slide that way willy-nilly. It slid that way because it was the interest of their donors. I am getting cash from this particular person, but I am going to parrot a certain cadence with the left. I'm going to call myself a moderate. That's been the modus operandi. Now, there is a logic to that process of being the least worst, because you can always at the very least say, I'm the least worst. Somebody can have a 50. You can have an entire class. The highest score is a 50. You're grading on the curve. Yes, the 50 is better than everybody else in the class, but it's still an F. It's still an F. What is the test of legitimacy? And do you honestly believe that the Democratic Party, as it's put together, exceeds the test of legitimacy? That's the first point. And the second point, at which point is there anything possible that the Democrats can do where you would say, no, you're on camera saying that you would vote for somebody who's building concentration camps? That is immensely pathetic. And I don't mean that to be offensive at all. I'm just saying you've essentially said that there is no situation to which you would not vote for a particular candidate if that candidate was even just a meager bit least worse. You allow that particular process to persist itself. What happens when there's an actual endpoint? Like when status quo can't necessarily just go on in perpetuity forever. What are the problems that you believe face your society, and do you believe those problems will persist forever in perpetuity? The strategy that you guys are going with, the reformists, the appeasers, the people who believe that they should vote for the Democrat in every situation because the Republican is batshit crazy. Those guys. Why would they change? What pressure, what stress, what tension, what do you have that would make them change? And any process, at the very least, they know that Sam Seder will be there with his vote. And look, I consider, look, when I used to, when I first started doing this, well, even before I started doing this, I used to watch some of everything. Oberman, Seder, Jimmy Dore. I used to watch the works. Once I started doing my videos, of course, that focus narrowed and you start getting to, okay, what do I want to talk about because it's my channel. I say that to say I don't have an all-encompassing understanding of what Sam Seder's content is. I've seen videos that he's done with Jimmy Dore that I didn't particularly like. I thought it was somewhat short-sighted, but whatever, to each his own. Everybody got bad ideas. I consider him a lefty. I think all of us are in the same sandbox. I think this idea of trying to say this person is different than the other person just because that person has a different idea. We will disagree on some things. Fair enough. But ultimately, I think all of us are in the same sandbox. Now, that's it. My sandbox don't vote for Democrats. At least not any that don't represent my interests. And I understand you can make a point that says the guy building 4 concentration camps as opposed to building 5 in some way represents my interests. I would say that does not represent your interests. I would say when you look over the context of long term, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, you choosing least worst has allowed that least worst to fester and persist and become really fucking bad. The Republicans are batshit crazy, but have no illusions about the Democrats. And I would argue that the thing that allowed the Democrats to get as bad as they are is the Sam Seders of the world being willing to give them your vote regardless of the situation. If you want that party to change, that party needs to lose. One or two things needs to take place. Either some external threat presses on that particular party, meaning they have the capacity to lose. Even if that third threat, that third party doesn't necessarily have the capacity to win, if it has the capacity to make the Democrats lose, that is something. That's not the best of bricks, but it's a brick nonetheless. If you had somebody who can actually win outright, if you win outright, it's a moot point, fair game. But I'm talking about in situations where you can't win outright because you don't necessarily have the infrastructure or the money or whatever else. Joe Manchin went to TYT not because he was scared of Swearengin, because he was scared of the Republic. Now, he's trying to make his case to progressives, and I would imagine Joe Manchin in no way wanted to be on TYT. He went there because he was scared of the Republic. Regardless of the dollars that these guys have in their G-strings, ultimately they want to stay in office. You have pitchforks or you have dollars. Either these guys believe that they can be replaced, or at the very least believe they could be crippled and hobbled in perpetuity. Or they remain the same. And I would argue all of this, the wins that took place over in Virginia, it gave the wrong message. I mean, all those people jumped back into the party because they were terrified of Trump, as opposed to the existential threat associated with the party if they lost Virginia. And I live in Virginia, so that's not me, being happy about a Republican taking Virginia. That's not it. I fundamentally understand that the party is the change, meaning the laws for the most part have been rigged in a way that the two-party system has been instantiated. So I understand the playing field. How can I say this? If they lose, there is a tension that's created with the party itself, meaning they start to fail the test of legitimacy. There are already questions. There are already people trying to take their heads. There are already one group after the next clawing at these guys. The message that they got was, we can cheat and we can lie. They still vote for us. The majority of the public thinks Democrats cheated Sanders. They still voted. They were terrified of Donald Trump. Now, if you want to get anything accomplished, and that party knows that regardless of the situation, they're still going to be able to get in office, I don't know where your leverage is. I just don't know where your leverage is. It seems like you have more leverage by being willing to say no and willing to let that party fail. Now, mind you, that needs to work on more so of a mass level. So one individual stomping his feet saying, I'm going to let it fail, doesn't quite fly. Fair enough. But certainly you can see that being willing to give up your credit card in every situation, being willing to come back home, even when he has lipstick on his face, there is no impetus to change as long as people continuously support the party. That's my point. I don't want to belabor the point, but that is the thrust of my main point. Terry J got here. But why are you saying that? For most part, everything I've heard about these Democrat wins is that they were not mostly about Trump. They were mostly about local issues. So some were. Don't get me wrong, some were. But what was the stat, the exit polls of what is it? Of all the people that didn't like Trump, 86% voted Democrat. That has to do with Trump. That has to do with Trump. Volume is low on the stream. Oh, let's see. Did my volume drop? Damn. I hate it when it does that. I don't know why it does that. And that's why I'm against all corporate political parties. Bob Ramirez said, Jamarl keeps deleting my insane rants in his comments. I do not. I don't touch the comments. I may respond to some comments, but I don't delete any comments. Democrats are about Democrats, yes. Kevin, and that's why I'm against all corporate political parties. Dax Jacobson, why did they ever start taking exit polls? That was a mistake. Just tell us what to think and what to buy. That's funny. Comment deleted. Dan, how well? Oh, okay. I don't know what that's about. Terry, make your point. Make your point. So, look, I will be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. If your goal is to reform the Democratic Party, certainly you can see that having a third party to push that party to the left is your best way to do it. Like, they have to be willing. They have to get to the point where they know they can lose. And you, as a voter, as a person in this particular country, need to be willing to let them lose. What happens over the course of 10, 20, 30, 40 years when status quo persists itself? Because people, for the most part, were terrified of the Republicans, so they were willing to let this kind of soothing complacency take over and just allow things to get worse and worse and worse. It's not that I want Republicans to be in office. I am willing to let them be in office if it means Democrats losing and getting some vehicle of the left. And you can make a case that you're playing a game of chicken. Fair enough. Fair enough. But I'm willing to go over the cliff. It must just be YouTube. Yeah, it's probably just YouTube. Dan Howard, just playing with you, saying you don't delete comments. Oh, ha ha ha. Tommaso Young, Burmistas. Oh, yeah, Burmistas back at you. Independent outsider. My goal is to get shit done. Don't care about the label. Enough broad promises. Let's see a plan. Right on, independent outsider. Tommaso Young. Fuck Sam Schiller. Oh, that's funny. I don't think Sam Seder's a bad guy. I just disagree with him. I mean, that's kind of the point I want to make on this also. I have no animosity towards Sam Seder. I may joke him from time to time because I dislike how he treated Jimmy Dore, but that's my own little personal feeling. I consider him a lefty. And just because he's willing to compromise and just because he's, doesn't necessarily have a spine and, he's somewhat of a doormat for the Democratic Party. Just because those things are true. If a position came up and if something was out there, he would support those same policies that you would support. You guys are in the same sandbox. The difference between you two is what you're willing to accept. That's the difference. Funny, during the last 5-hour marathon, I heard Trump is the devil, Pence is a good guy, then follow the barking Bernie back to the DNC. Bob, you deny it. You heard no such thing. You've heard no such thing. Don't believe Bob. Bob's not giving context. Independent outsiders. Sam's a bit full of himself, but he's okay. Yeah, he's a bit full of himself sometimes. Tommaso Young. Sam Schiller isn't bad if you don't carry water for the DNC. Agreed. Yeah, agreed. I mean, the stuff on the left, he would agree with you on. It's the carrying water part that you fundamentally disagree with. And in every situation, here's my credit card. Here's my credit card. Here's my card. No, this black guy isn't. No, he doesn't. He doesn't hit me. He didn't hit me. He didn't hit me. I promise you, he didn't hit me. He didn't hit me. I ran into the door, and after which I just fell down the stairs, and I got bit by a dog. He didn't hit me. He didn't hit me. Eric H526. Sam Seder is not too triggered. X Factor 541. Blade Runner 2049 is a great movie. Blade Runner 2049 is a fucking awesome movie. That is a fucking awesome movie. He's not a fraud. Kevin Sam Seder is just like Chinkis. He's not a fraud. He's not a fraud. You guys have a tendency to, and maybe I do it too. Just because you disagree with him doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It depends on the disagreement. But all things being equal, this guy's in your sandbox. Hey you. Hi. That's funny. That's an awesome name, by the way. Hey you. Hi. Some people are cucks and submissive. Revolution isn't pretty. History has shown us, and wiki. I wasn't going to use the term cuck, but it's funny that you brought that in. Independent House says Cedar credit. LOL. Kevin, yes he is. Oh, that's rough. I can prove it definitely. Oh, Jude. He said I can prove it definitively. I can prove it definitively. That's funny. No, I just disagree with the strategy, man. It's so let's say you have one guy, he builds 5 concentration camps. The other guy says he's going to build 4. Sam Seder puts the guy who builds 4. The next guy around, the guy says he's going to build 10. The next guy, for the Democrats, says he's going to build 8. Sam Seder puts in the guy who builds 8 concentration camps. Go again. Sam Seder, a Republican. This time, now he's at 20 concentration camps. The Democrat is at 15. Sam Seder votes for the guy who's building 15 concentration camps. It seems like they're consistently building more concentration camps. That's what it seems like to me. It's morally repugnant. That's what, yeah, it is morally repugnant to be voting people in who are going to build concentration camps. Yes, I agree. Morally repugnant. My wife saw the original Blade Runner for the first time in 2 days before Blade Runner 2049. She absolutely loved both. It is both films are amazing, man. One of the women in the theater, she's like, I don't get it. He says, I don't get it. That movie was amazing. I have a 420 that I really want to do for Blade Runner. I just haven't got around to it yet. I might do it after this one. Mark P. Sam Seder attacks people with an outside game savagely. It's like it really eats at him. Yeah, I think it makes him insecure about who he is as a person. It's like you standing there being all pure. Ugh, you're making me look bad. You're making me look bad. I feel bad about myself because you actually represent your values and your interests. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. That's what I'm going with. I'm assuming it. So yeah, we can assume it's true. I'm joking, by the way. But it would make sense. Like, I'm angry that that person is standing there attached to his values. How dare that bastard. Dare that bastard. Reality is too messy for values, man. Reality is too messy for values. I don't have time for values. I'm Sam Seder. I have a radio show to do. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's the same argument I make with Sanders. Sanders standing right there. He's standing beside Tom Perez. Tom Perez looks immensely bad. Bernie Sanders doesn't have even open his mouth. The guy who's standing beside him looks immensely bad by virtue of what the other person is not. What do you espouse? What do you espouse? Not just what do you espouse, what do you believe? And if somebody is standing within their belief and you guys believe it, that you're in the same sandbox, and for whatever reason you feel that that person, maybe on a gut level, but you don't necessarily want to own up to it, is more attached to his values, yeah, maybe you may feel some kind of way about it. You might feel some kind of way. It's like, I'm angry because I don't have the luxury of keeping my values. I need to carry water for the DNC. Yeah. Classroom cooperative. You are being utopian. Oh, you haven't heard me be utopian. I can utopia the shit out of stuff. Rebel Cage Rally. No, I'm on my laptop. This is freaking weird. Jamal's window takes up the entire top of my window. Never this has happened before. This has never happened before. Hit the rectangle. Okay. They're giving her technical advice. My audience is fucking awesome. Daniel Goshen. Gohan. We must expose the Bilderberg group. They're the ones who plan our wars, choose our presidents. Right now, as it stands, we have no democracy in our government as it stands now. In our government as it stands now. I would agree with you about not necessarily having the government representing your interests, yes. I would say that you don't necessarily need to look to the Bilderberg group. Self-interest, fucking awesome, and kind of meets that need. Meaning, if you have people with large amounts of wealth, those people are going to do things to protect their wealth. Yes. Will those people reach into the political apparatus with their wealth? Yes. And if they reach into the political apparatus, and your political apparatus demands cash to get elected, will those people be beholden to the people with the cash? Yes. You don't need a Bilderberg group. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying you don't need them in the equation. Bob Ramirez, I love the second Blade Runner movie too. Yeah, Soldier with Kurt Russell. Soldier was good. Bomb Bob. Soldier was damn good. Oh, Dax, I love you. This feels better. We're out. Good. Tomosa, fake unity. Yeah, fake unity. Jamal still won't debate Sam. Sam Seder doesn't even know I exist. J. Scott, looking up old clips. Weak, Jamal, weak. I didn't look up that old clip. Somebody gave me that clip. You didn't hear the first part. Bernie said he supports the UBI max wage cap, but won't run on those ideas because he doesn't think we're there. Yeah, that's true. That's probably true. That's probably true. Debate isn't everything is overrated. Yeah, two people screaming at each other. Chuck B. Seder completely trashed me when I suggested on his show that Clinton practiced triangulation politics. Him and his crew laughed and accused me of being stuck in the 90s. That sounds about right. He can be a smug ass. He can be a smug asshole. Dax Jacobson. J. Scott, someone else sent the clip to him. He did not know it. So, yeah. Well, no, I knew it was 2012, but it's like 2012. It's what, 4 years? 5 years? And yeah, somebody did send me the clip, by the way. You're talking about worse than the Gilded Age wealth. Yeah, agreed. Sam Seder relies on propaganda tactics. I don't know about that part. Maybe. Sam Seder would destroy Jamarl in debate, Dax, and you know it. Okay. Dax knows Sam murders people in debates. It depends. I mean, what are you debating on? What's the debate? If somebody calls up his show, in which case you would have him and the other weirdo in the background making sounds, then yeah, just by virtue of the platform, yeah, he's going to win the debate. It has nothing to do with his ideas. That being said, I have heard Sam Seder eat people alive in debates. So, I don't think it's purely just that. Sam Seder needs a fainting couch everywhere he goes. He has no composure. I don't know what that means. That's funny. Barry Jennings. Sam Seder needs his face set on. Oh, that's funny. Brian, he'll make a straw man and burn it down. I've seen Sam Seder eat people alive in debates. He's not a slouch. He's not a slouch. Sam Seder takes call. TYT does not take live calls. Yeah, exactly. Dax. Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. Skip Rocky also needs replacement sticks, so that's funny. I have to be honest, I don't have this thing with Sam. My only issue is the strategy itself. That's the only thing I have issue with. And I understand Skip's issue, or I understand Skip's feelings, or Jay's feelings, but Jay Scott, well, I hope Jamarl grows some balls and tries to debate him. It will be funny to watch. You understand that Sam doesn't know I exist. You think my reach is more than what it is. Hey, I appreciate it, though. Barry Jennings, serious questions. Aren't TYT ratings like way down, or was it a rumor? I have no idea. Hey, you hi. Had a suspicion when Obama kept saying over and over again that he wanted bipartisanship when he had Congress and the people behind him. Confirm my worries that the president's toed the line to get Kennedy. Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Is it possible that Obama just agreed with him? Like, is it just one of those things where Obama, just because he ran a particular way, didn't necessarily mean that that's the way he is. That's all. This is not, you're being threatened to get Kennedy. Jay Scott, I think a lot of people's ratings are down. People are tuning out. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't watch ratings like that. Like, I don't watch TYT's ratings. Same corporate masters. That's why I'm green. I voted Jill Stein. I'm not anything, though. I'm not anything. If a Democrat ran that I thought represented my interests, that Democrat would get my vote. If a Green ran that I thought represented my interests, that Green Party member would get my vote. I don't care about the labels. That's the person. Kevin, yeah, sham shithead. Takes calls. He also attacks dissenting views when he knows he can't beat them in a logical manner. He resorts to shaming lies and have wingman. Yeah, the wingman. The wingman is fucking ridiculous. Dan Howell. Obama's community organizer history was organized of corporate interests. He's always been a corporate whore. It's funny. Glenn Ford has said something similar to that. Glenn Ford was like, we knew him from way back and we knew what he was early on. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I just fundamentally dislike the strategy that some of these guys are doing. But look, I will reserve my judgment until the Unity Reform Commission. If they give it to super delegates, and if they open primaries, then there will be a battle that Bernie Sanders had won. And I would argue Bernie Sanders needs that particular battle if he's going to make a run in 2020. So we'll see what appeasing gets them. I could be totally wrong, but we'll see. Labelist Jamarl. Jim Garrison. Yeah. Independent outsider. Tomoso, how do we connect the Greens across the country? Agreed. Great policies, great local area, but not connected enough yet. Not at all. Barry Jennings. Speaking of Kennedy, you did review the JFK dump at some of it. It is bogus. They obviously deleted the meat and potatoes, so they classified for 50 years a bunch of nothing and left in an MLK red herring. You know, look up Seymour Hersh if you want to learn more about the Kennedy thing, man. Seymour Hersh has this thing called Dark Side of the Kennedy Administration, where he goes into talking about the stuff with Marilyn Monroe and all the stuff that Kennedys were into. And it's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. I'm going to get Mrs. Thomas on the Trump train, and then Jamarl won't have a choice but to get on the Trump. Yeah, whatever. Donald Trump is gross. He's gross, I'm sorry. He lies flagrantly. You understand that ultimately he's functioning purely at the behest of the rich. Like, look, Skip, if you have a ton of cash in the bank, God bless. He's representing your interests. If you are just part of the 99%, you're getting screwed. He's lying to you. The Democratic Party is bad. The Republican Party is just as bad, if not worse. You can make a case that the Democratic Party is worse only because they allow this kind of rightward drift, not representing the interests of their constituencies. Meaning, you're voting for me, you're putting me in this office. I'm doing whatever I want because ultimately you are voting against the Republican, not necessarily for me. That being said, you've given me a free hand in this office. You've given me a free hand. What are you going to do? You're terrified of the Republican. I mean, at that point, the Democrats can move further and further to the right. They can take that cash. They can do their bidding. What are you going to do? Not vote for them? What are you going to do? Not vote? I mean, come on. J. Scott Jamarl is still a rookie. That is true. Skip Rock lies flagrant like a fox. I'm glad you know Skip. And wet paper towel is smarter than Sharm Shithead. Well, yes and no. I mean, if we're being honest, a lot of what takes place in regards to debate and everything else, there's a lot of stuff that's still new to me, weird to me. Like, a lot of stuff is still new and weird to me. The debates themselves it's not just a debate, if that makes sense. It's like, those things are weird. Those things are weird. I'm still new to this. You should call Sam and give him a piece of your mind, Kev. He does take phone calls, by the way. You ever see the conspiracy theories video on YouTube that says Jackie shot him? Oh, God, no. Jackie didn't shoot Kennedy. Mark P. Plutocracy sucks, even for the plutocrats, i.e. Brazil in the 80s. Yeah, they paid lower taxes, but they were prisoners in guarded compounds and had to pay for the guards and pay for the kidnap insurance. Yeah, they were fucking themselves over. Jay, why are we always focused on our voices competing against one another? Thank you, independent outsider. Can we all just get along? Hey, Yuhai, Trump at least makes people trump his policies. He's good for that. Pence or Hillary would have go unattended too. That's just it, though. I mean, they don't really go after his policies. They go after the stupid shit that he does. Like, ABC News shows Donald Trump taking a sip of water. Okay. A human being took a sip of water. That's fucking great. That's great. That's absolutely awesome. Human being took a sip of water. Why are you showing me that? It's like, what's the gross shit he's doing in taxes? Why aren't you talking about that? It's one of those things. It's like, did he do it on purpose because he wanted to, just watch them talk about this? This is going to be so outside of the ordinary. They're going to talk about this. Who knows? But talking about his policies and focusing on the nasty shit that he does, it seemed to focus more on him. But I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. Didn't the whole organized labor moving to third party thing already fizzle? It might have, Bob. I think it was just a threat, personally. I think it might have been a threat. Look at Jamal's. So I don't like Jamal's title. Oh, too bad. I don't like it when indie people fight. Democratic submissive Sam Seder says he'll vote for concentration camps. Well, he did say he'll vote for concentration camps. What am I missing? Oh, you don't like the Democratic submissive part. What do you want to call it, Jay? What do you want to call it? Oh, good chunk of his policies are crap. Yeah, they are. They are. Jay Scott, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Fair enough. Jamal, do you genuinely think... Who would genuinely be the best VP for Bernie in 2020? Would it be Tulsi? I have no idea. I don't know how to answer that. I honestly can't answer. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard is nice. I like Tulsi. But again, I haven't vetted Tulsi, so I don't necessarily know. I just like her being somewhat anti-war. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, lefties have a bad that sounds bad. Lefties have a tendency to go along to get along sometimes. Meaning, with Sanders, take somebody who is more centrist to be his VP. Like to kind of shut that part of the party up. For instance, like Donald Trump choosing Mike Pence. You got somebody who was more conservative, more of the, you know, the country club conservative types. The religious extremist type to shut that part of the base up. Would Bernie do the same? I don't know. I don't know if he'll choose Tulsi. Maybe. I don't see why not. Maybe. Or Nina Turner, yeah. Or Nina Turner. We have to focus on what's right in front of us, not 2020, 3 years away. Agreed. Independent outsider, I agree. I think sometimes we focus on 2020 because of how fucking horrible the next 3 years is going to be. Let's see. Independent outsider. Pete Tulsi for Secretary of State. Maybe. It's not bad. Jimmy Dore is a corporate too then. What? Jay Scott is not indie. He is a TYT corporate dim. Why, man? Why does it have to be? How about this? Let's say this. Can we say, for sake of argument, somebody has a perspective, and let's say that 99% of the items in that perspective are the same. From a policy standpoint, what do I think the world should look like? And 99% of those items are the same. If that's true, that would mean that all of us are in the same sandbox. If all of us are in the same sandbox, and look, I get I'm being a hypocrite here because I'm attacking Sam Seder. I'm calling him a submissive. Fair enough. In fact, I'll change the title. Fair enough. I'm being a hypocrite. I don't like the left going at each other. And yes, I know the title says submissive Sam Seder. But I guess my feeling is I've seen people go after one group after the next, saying that they didn't pass some arbitrary purity test, which whatever the hell that means. This person is this, and this person is that, and this person doesn't measure up, and this. Fair enough. I disagree with Sam's strategy. That's it. I would argue, if you could fillet us out and we would be some kind of computer program, all of us will probably be damn near the same. I may be further to the left, fair enough. But the majority of the stuff that we're talking about will probably be around the same. Or at the very least will be in arguing range. Like it's not like Republicans, like, I believe people should have health care. I believe people should die if they can't afford it. Like, whoa, okay. We're not even in the same room to have this conversation. We're at the very least in the same room. Now, the disagreement I think I have with him is not necessarily on this thing of on policy, at least short-term policy. I think the disagreement is on strategy, if that makes sense. This idea of continuously voting for the Democrat. And by the way, Jay, I've heard him make this argument before of, him going after Jimmy Dore because Jimmy Dore is like, I don't want to vote for Hillary Clinton. So, whether it's 2012, it's the same idea. Whatever you want. You can take my credit card. You can take my credit card. Yeah, I disagree with the strategy. I'm keeping my title. My title fits. I'm totally keeping my title. I've talked myself back into the title, Jay. Al Franken got so busted. Yes, he did. An accusation is one thing. People can't. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's brutal. Sam criticized Hillary picking Tim Kaine, but then said he wanted. Yeah. Well, that's just it. It's like, I don't like her doing that, but she's still getting my vote. I don't like her privatizing Social Security, but she's still getting my vote. I don't like her doing this. I don't like her doing that. It's just in this, this perpetual thing where I don't like X, but I'm still backing Y. Tulsi seemed reserved, like she's holding something back. Perhaps my spidey sense is malfunctioning. Mark P, who knows? Maybe, maybe not. Dan Howell, I don't know. Stephanie Jap, yeah, I don't know either. Todd Clark, Tom Perez, what the fuck ever. Dax Jacobs, Dan Howell, knowing the Democrats, they would have a $10 gas tax to turn out Republicans the first year. And 2 Republicans will win the Democratic primary. Oh, that's funny. Well, 1 Republican did win the Democratic primary last time. Yeah, that is true. Dax Jacobson, Al Franken, major fuck up. Then you take a picture too, all before running for the Senate. Yeah, I mean, that picture was dickish. Because it went beyond, like, it's one thing if it was, I'm just joking with this woman. I haven't done anything else. I'm Al Franken, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, I'm a comedian. That's bad enough. But he shoved his tongue down her throat. She essentially pushed him away and threatened him, and he started being a dick to her on the tour. And then after all that took place, then he took that picture. That was in poor taste. That was immensely poor taste. Skip Rock, they don't care. Their strategy is just burrow through everything like social media doesn't exist. This is kind of my point. Is there a line that the Democratic appeasers are willing to go? Is there a line that they're not willing to cross? Like, is there a point where they say, okay, I can't take that step with you? And if so, what is that step? I'm curious. I mean, the reformers, I take the reformers at their word that they want to actually change the Democratic Party. By the same token, the party doesn't want to be changed. And I would argue if you do want to change it, you do have a rock. And that rock is a third party. Now, and to be fair, to be completely fair, I look at this stuff from the context of history, if I'm being honest. So when Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, the civil rights movement, Malcolm X is terrifying to listen to. That man, he's fucking amazing. Martin Luther King, more measured in the way he gives his speeches, but moral force, like immense moral force, comes through in his speeches. It bleeds out in his speeches. The man is amazing. Did Malcolm X make Martin Luther King more palatable to the nation? The answer is yes, he did. Why did Malcolm X make Martin Luther King more palatable? Because between the two options, Dr. King was talking peace. The other guy was talking revolution. I'm just making this point that if Dem Enter, it sounds nasty. If Dem Enter want to be successful, you need Dem Exit. The number of people, or the larger group of people that decide that they want to leave, or willing to leave. It's not even leaving. It's being willing to leave. Being clear that you're willing to leave. The better chance you have of changing that party. Beyond that, nothing changes. Rebel Cage Rattler. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, and over and over and over and over again, expecting different results. That's exactly how we vote every 4 years. Yes, that's true. That is true. Agreed. Jamarl, are there witnesses to the forced kiss account? I can't fully trust accounts without proof. The picture of Franken, yeah, wrong. No evidence of the forced kiss to my knowledge. Al Franken sent out an apology. Do you believe that Al Franken would admit to doing something wrong if Al Franken did do something wrong? I believe Al Franken on this. I believe Al Franken. Love the previous segment, Jamal. Oh, thank you, Trudy. Our segments always go long. He is a PhD in political science, and there is nobody else I can find with a PhD in political science where I can drag and talk their ear off. It's fucking amazing. This political history is astonishing. FDR and Bernie is like Jordan and LeBron. Yeah, pretty much. Messing with a sleeping woman is a terrible optics. Yeah, that does look bad. That does look immensely bad. He was groping a sleeping woman. Question is he going to leave? I mean, Democrats have been screaming at the top of their lungs that the other guy, what's his name, Moore, or Cooper, whatever his name, the Republican, that he should leave. There are like 5 women who saying the guy groped or raped him or assaulted him. If they're supposed to leave, is Al Franken also supposed to leave? Also understand, I'm somewhat biased here. I don't have a dog in this hunt. And my bias to this degree is I don't have a dog in this hunt. If that makes sense. It sounds weird. I guess all perspectives are biased to some degree. There is no, objective perspective. All perspectives are relative. I guess that's what I'm saying. I believe that Democrats need to be replaced. And I would prefer people in there that lean to the left, or at the very least can be compelled to bend to the left. So I am okay with Al Franken leaving. That is my own personal bias. That being said, he did grope a woman. He did stick something down her throat. So regardless of my bias, that's somewhat of it did take place. Dax Jacobson, it was very hard to get Franken into office. J. Scott, it's the game. Money will influence any party, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 18th. Yeah, Jay, I've thought about that myself, right? Like, unless you change the apparatus itself, or unless you change the system itself, yeah, you're going to get the same thing. I mean, granted, it may take longer. So it's like, yes, having a third party to bribe takes a little bit longer because the parties can, go at one another. And one party drags the other to the left. So, yes, I would take that third party if I got the opportunity for a 3rd and 4th and 5th. But your point is well taken. You got to get money out of politics. Sexual harassment, Mexican standoff. I have no idea what that means. To mostly young, don't care for Al Franken either. Jim Garrison, my dog is at the vet. Oh, I'm sorry. Independent outsider. Franken is a hypocrite about comedy gone too far. Remember him condemning Kathy Griffin. See, I don't know if he's being funny on that one, or if he's being a dick because she was kind of rebuffing him. He was mad at her. I don't know which one it is. Yeah, I don't know which one. But grabbing a woman's breast, yes, was a little too far. Trudy, my 73-year-old brother said today, my president is making everything better. Oh my God, I just walked away. She's like, I just walked away. I couldn't respond. Damn you people, now I have to look up Franken. Al is talking about quitting. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I mean, the question was asked, are they going to tell them to step aside? They've been screaming that the other Republican was supposed to step aside. Are Democrats going to do the same for Al Franken? I don't know. I haven't heard yet. Leanne is hella fine, though. Oh, I know you're talking about. Yeah, the woman that he molested. Yeah, jeez. I'm not going to say she's fine because it feels awkward to say that she's fine after she's already being groped. Franken is resigning. Oh, too bad. Each vote in the Senate was screwed. It's big time. If Roy Moore wins, perhaps Al can try to get him to quit if he does. George Chariton has been accused today too. No way! Are you shitting me? No way. No way, Jay. George Chariton has been accused of groping somebody? Oh, I'm going to have to look that up. Maybe Sanders will pick Michael Moore. No, he won't. Dax Jacobson, Moore will win. Trump Republicans do not believe anything on mainstream media. In HuffPost, wow. I'm sorry, guys. I have to look that up. Jordan Chariton jumped somebody? Jordan Chariton is accused by former employees of sexual abuse and harassment. Wow. Oh, man, that's... Say it ain't so, bro. Say it ain't so, dude. You lost the mission, bro. You lost the mission. I want to get that shirt. You lost the mission, bro. Jordan Chariton's accused by former employees of sexual abuse and harassment. Is this one of the women that he abused? TYT Politics and Truth Against the Machine reporter Jordan Chariton has been accused by several former employees and colleagues of incidents of sexual misconduct, including assault. Carla Hammond, a former Truth Against the Machine reporter, told me in detail about her relationship with Jordan and about an incident where he raped her. What? What the fuck? Wow. I gotta be honest. Groping, I somewhat expected. Raped is, wow. Hammond met Chariton through Z. Cohen, oh God, another accuser, oh God, whom she connected with while covering the water crisis in Flint, Michigan. Hammond joined Truth shortly thereafter and worked with Chariton on covering Flint several more times in person. So I've met Z. Cohen. When I started doing my channel, there was an ad that came out for somebody who was looking for, they were looking for reporters. Now, Z. Cohen was the point of contact. She was the person who it was. And apparently, the connection at that point was Jordan Chariton. Essentially, they were trying to build this kind of reporting thing or something. The connection fell apart because ultimately we weren't able to get together, me, Z. Cohen, and myself. I'm shocked by this. I gotta be honest, I'm so shocked by this. Wow. Let's keep going. They've been sending Jordan all over the place. In May of 2017, Charlton Hammond, Chariton's TYT cameraman Ty Bayless, and I can't pronounce that, reporter Chelsea Lyons went out for drinks to celebrate a new story. They returned to Chariton's hotel room after wasted, in quotes. Of course I accepted because I wanted to feel accepted, like validated by Jordan and Ty, whom I admired for a long time, Hammond told me. It was an opportunity to develop closer ties with people who could take me places. Take you places, all right. Jordan would constantly remind me that he has tons of connections, that I'm very talented and skilled, and that he can help me be a star. Jordan is not a star himself. How can he help? He's on a YouTube channel. What are you talking about? Be a star. Hammond changed into a bathing suit and got into the hotel hot tub. Jordan was in his boxers, and I'm pretty sure Chelsea was just naked. But I was too drunk to care, she recalled. Ty got in later with more alcohol, which we all consumed. Chariton eventually left the tub and went to bed. Hammond told me that Bayless and Lyons were making out, and after some time, she decided to get up and go to bed. The group had invited her to spend the night in the hotel, and the only bed for her was the one Chariton was sleeping in. She recalls that she was snoring loudly, and she assumed he was sleeping or asleep for the night, so she laid down for bed. I've often wondered when they're doing these segments, like when Jordan is going to Ohio, or he's going to Flint, or whatever, he's going to place after place after place. Are they hooking up? Like, I know that sounds... Look, that's just me being curious at this point. I'm curious so far. But apparently they are. Apparently they are. I assume they're human beings. I assume that when people are together, reasonably good looking, things happen. Mind you, those things need to be consensual, which is kind of the point. And mind you, this is unsubstantiated, by the way. So we don't know if this is a flat fact. This is an accusation. Another accusation. The next thing she remembers is Lyons on top of her trying to kiss her and her top removed. I tried turning over and pushing her off. She just pulled me back, Hammond said. Ty Bayless was there too. He tried to kiss me. All I could think was no. And let's be clear, I said it too. Not loudly. I couldn't yell. But if someone looked at my face and asked themselves if I wanted any of this, the answer is fucking no. Lyons eventually gave up on Hammonds and woke up Chariton. Hammonds remembers her saying, "She's beautiful, enjoy her." Chariton replied, "Are you sure?" "But he wasn't talking to me," Hammond said. He didn't take his... Oh, God, yeah. All right. I'm not going to read this. This is good. This is getting graphic. Yeah, I will put this article at the bottom. This is brutal. This is brutal. This is immensely long and brutal. Yeah, this totally went from Sam Seder into... Jay Scott, this is your fault. Jay Scott, this is on you. This is totally on you. What's going on? What's going on? There we are. Yeah, Jay Scott, that's on you. Poor Jordan, all them days on the road dating Sally Palmer gets old eventually. I don't know who Sally Palmer is. Read Jordan's Medium article. I will read his article. Be skeptical about this. Oh, and you heard me say that this was not, this is not a flat fact. Nice translation, by the way. Jay Scott, my bad. Nah, you're fine. You're fine. Accusations do not mean guilt. Agreed. Accusers may start accusations as a weapon. Sounds like the National Choir level stuff. Yeah, it does. The only thing is with accusations, you get this thing of it's like you have to balance the potential of the story to be true with the rights of the person who's being accused. It's not the easiest thing in the world. That's all. Yeah, that's all. What's going on? Are you guys seeing me at all? I'm seeing red all around. Why did Louise have to masturbate in front of all those women? Actually, let me look up Jordan's thing. It's only fair. His response. I have to be honest though. Yeah, I have to be honest. So it sounds like a lot of them got drunk and had a romp. Now, she said if anybody was looking at my face, and it's like, how do you know somebody was looking at your face? It's like these stories, man, they get, at a certain point, they become just so hazy, so nebulous. But they're saying multiple women. They're not saying just one, they're saying multiples. Rebel Cage Rattler, scroll up and read my last message, okay? I am not the typical female that protects females at all costs, just for sisterhood's sake. I tell you, if there's booze involved, both are responsible. It's not always the man's fault. Agreed. Terry J, women. Terry J, I'm going to get back to that one. So, Rebel Cage Rattler, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I mean, you can't just take it as a flat fact. If alcohol is involved, and she said, I said no, I didn't say it loud, then how do you know that the people understood that? Yeah, man, some of these stories just get complicated, that's all. And if they're saying multiples, then it becomes just more than one case. But it starts to get, it started to get really, I don't want to use the term vulgar. I don't necessarily know why I'm feeling any particular way about it. Usually, it's like, regardless of the word, if you're saying the same thing, you're trying to communicate the same thought. I don't know why I feel any kind of way about it. But that being said, let me see. it sounded like they were messing around. They were wasted. She got in bed. Jordan made a pass, and maybe he was a little bit more aggressive than what he was supposed to be. That's what it sounds like. But to be fair, I don't know the other cases, so don't hold me to it. I will put the links in the bottom, though. Let me see. Now it says, at some point, Hammond. Who's Hammond? Hammond said she came to her senses and was able to kick Chariton, at which point he began apologizing. He told her to get dressed, took her out to the lobby, where he became tender and affectionate. Hammond, who had already survived sexual assault before, did not know how to respond. I chose to do the dumbest thing imaginable and accept responsibility for what happened, Hammond said. It was utterly my fault. And good that it happened, because Jordan is the best and would never lie to me, and he's so great, so what the hell? Might as well just believe everything he says, because he's 11 years older than me, and I didn't want to go through feeling like a victim again. Oh my God, if Hammond is who I think it is. Oh, don't tell me that's what's her name. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't know anything about this, so I didn't necessarily prepare for this particular story. I was punching Sam Seder. Let's see. Okay, I guess that's Hammond. Okay, that's not who I thought it was. I thought it was there's a young woman that works with Jordan on TYT Politics. Carla Hammond. Okay, it's a different one. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. C. Cohen, both at TYT Truth, come supporting of Hammond after initially disbelieving her. Yeah, I'll put this down. I mean, this just sounds like corroborated Jordan's sexist and abusive behavior and will be publishing her own story in the near future. Well, this is multiple people putting that story up, so I don't know. I'll let you read it for yourself. Now, as for Jordan's, his response, alright, this is too long to read in its entirety. So, alright, so right here, I'll read the top. Explaining my TYT absence. For TYT viewers who watch me for 2 years, you've heard me say I've got to keep it real thousands of times. In that spirit, I've chosen to engage in radical transparency about a disturbing situation that has been brewing in my life for months. This is an important time for women and male victims of sexual violation, and I commend the immense courage it takes for them to come forward. As I relate the following, it is with mindfulness that our culture needs to overcome toxic masculinity and move aggressively towards equality and nonviolence. I also want to emphasize that one incident should not change the fact the victims deserve our help and belief. You know, the thing is, man, anytime somebody accuses you, at that point you're tarred. You're going to have some people who believe you. There are going to be some people who disbelieve you. Both of those people are, for the most part, in the same spot. It's just belief. What's true? And I have to be honest, I don't know the working point of view that would allow an individual to not be biased on stuff like this. Like, to not necessarily take a perspective that's overly critical of the person who's coming forward, by the same token, overly harsh to the person who's been accused. It's like a no-win scenario. It's like, how do you balance on the head of a pin? I have no idea. I have no idea. male victims. There are male victims. Okay. So my wife, do you know? There's the big African American guy. He's massive. He's huge muscles and whatnot. He can. I'm not laughing at him. I'm not laughing. He came out and said he was groped. He said somebody groped him, and some Hollywood guy groped him. And my wife, like, I knew about the story, but I'm laughing at my wife's response to it. She was like, his big ass said somebody groped him. And I know it's not an issue of size and everything else. Like I said, I'm laughing at her response. She was like, get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. Terry J, you're right. Anything can fill a party. I'm going back to your original point. A party is just a vessel. Anything can fill that particular vessel. Oh, man, I'm going to have to bring Terry on the show. Because it's one thing of talking through this medium. But she's been a vocal critic of my strategy. And I want her to have her say. Like, there's no way a naturally naughty and dirty drunk woman can manipulate naturally naughty and dirty drunk old man to do things that would normally do when he was sober. Yeah, they could. Accusations doesn't equal guilt. Agreed. Plus, if she ended up on the same bed with him of her free will, it kind of takes away the edge of the subsequent claim. Not that it couldn't happen, just less likely. Terry Crews, that's who it is. Terry Crews, yeah. Terry Crews is like, get the hell out of here. The guy's like a linebacker. He's massive. When I think back over my behavior, like making passes at women, and I gotta be honest, I've just as being a guy, well, of course you want to make a pass, but it's not a situation of authority or anything else. I can think of one or two occasions where I was hitting on a female. Now, is it possible for the female that I hit on to turn around and say, this guy touched me inappropriately? Maybe. It's like, where does it end? Like, have we gotten to the point where you have to have a contract in order to even, make a pass at somebody? I mean, that being said, her and I were still friends. So it wasn't like, I made a pass. She hated my guts and so forth. I would say she liked it. But I could be wrong. I guess what I'm asking is, my fear is that we get to the point where it becomes like just like a pass becomes something that's something that gets an accusation. That's all. I mean, Jordan had a few accusations against him. He would make his case. In no way does it mean guilt. In no way does it mean he's innocent. You can dance on the head of that pin. Yeah. Emma Vigeland. That's what I thought it was. Yeah, it's not Vigeland. I was like, oh, don't let it be Emma. Don't let it be Emma. I have to be honest. I would have felt some kind of way if it was Emma. I would have felt some kind of way. And it's not, I don't know Emma from a hole in the wall. She's, sometimes you're, based upon something that you're doing, based upon something that you might be listening to, hell, based upon, you may be stoned one day, you may be drunk one day, you may encounter something that sticks in your head in a very particular way. It may be a particular song, it may be somebody who you were talking to and the music was right and it was whatever. There are television shows. I've always said True Blood. I'm not going to go into the True Blood thing again. I'm just saying True Blood and Led Zeppelin's Thank You. It's one of those things that's stuck in my head. One of the scenes for Emma is stuck in my head also. And she was having a conversation. It was her and it was Jordan Chariton, and they were having a back and forth on the Democratic Party itself. And she made this argument. It was like, oh, that's so cute. That's so cute. Politics doesn't work that way, but it's so cute. I would have felt some kind of way if it was Emma. And that's the other part to this, right? Depending on who the quote-unquote victim is, or the person who this was done to, it does kind of make you feel some kind of way about the person. Like, it presupposes you, or it Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. You can non-verbally express no. To Mostly Young, I agree. But if you guys are wasted and somebody has to look into your face to see whether or not you're expressing no, that's different. But it's besides the point. At a certain point, it went beyond just expressing no. It went beyond her being vocally and no. Not to mention it went beyond to multiple other women who were accusing him. I mean, blame the goddamn libtards for making everything sexual assault. They ruin my fun. I love having men flirt with me, but too many are getting scared and stupid too. Yeah, I agree. It's like, what's that range? It depends on the range. Rebel Cage Rattler. Independent Outsider. It's Jimmy Stein's fault. Skip. What? I'm thinking this Dapple and Flint involved that has to do with this. Independent Outsider. Terry Crews. Yeah, Terry Crews. Dax Jacobson. If every dude is going to get called out, this will never end. Fred Axe, for sure, it was Emma. It was not Emma. At least I don't think it was Emma. I haven't looked at the bottom of the page. I hope it wasn't Emma. I really hope it wasn't Emma. Republicans had a fit at the idea of, I don't know what BC is, getting a BG. BC getting a BJ. That's funny. It would take a year for each dude, right, for the lawsuits. East Delicious, I guess. It sounds like he thinks he's in love in hippie old school style. If Emma was involved, that by itself could derail the entire progressive movement. Emma is standing with Jordan on this. Yeah, it's just her job. That's her job. And I'm not going to impugn her character in this way. She probably knows him. They're friends. They seem to get along extraordinarily well. If you say he didn't do it, she was probably going to say, okay, he's telling me he didn't do it. What's she supposed to do? What is she supposed to do? Marsha Smith, no, it wasn't Emma. No, I know. I feel you. I know. I agree. I know. Terry J, you're right. I don't know if Terry J is still here, but if in case she's still here, you're right. Parties themselves are just empty vessels. They're just empty vessels. Is the Democratic Party currently an empty vessel? Is the Democratic Party currently an empty vessel? If it is not currently an empty vessel, if it is not, who's in charge of the ship? Do you believe that the people who are in charge of the ship are going to give up control of that ship, particularly when you're talking about federal level and the amount of money that they have involved in the process? You have one of two options. You can beat them outright, something like an Owl Revolution or Justice Democrats, meaning you're just taking these guys on and you're beating them. No compromise, you just win. But the other one is to drag them further to the left. And Terry, I would wager that unless you agree with me that you would prefer the party to be further to the left. If you would agree with me that you would prefer the party to be further to the left, what gets you there? I would argue attacking them on the outside, meaning yes, having our revolution and these other groups run against them. But also threatening them with a very big rock. That yes, we're going to drag you to the left, kicking and screaming, either because you're going to lose to Republicans or either to your own candidates, or you're going to change. That's my case. I think that case makes perfect sense. Of course, I can't think the case makes perfect sense because I'm saying it. But stepping outside of myself for the moment, I think that case makes perfect sense. Now, what am I missing? Cenk Uygur masturbated in front of me. X Factor, yeah, man, he touched me also. He touched me. He touched me inappropriately. Hey, you hi. I just chime in when it calms down. That's funny. Dan Howell. Carla Heyman is married, which could give her a motive for lying about the encounter. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're trying to say that they were messing around, and she just kind of was like, I don't want to own up to the fact that I cheated, so I'm going to say I am going to dance on the head of a pin, and I'm going to remain ambiguous. This is kind of my point, man. It's you either believe she's a vindictive woman or the vindictive fornicator who doesn't necessarily want to own up to her husband that she cheated with Jordan, or that Jordan raped her. Which one is it? Or is it somewhere in between? And which one do you feel comfortable falling on the side of? I'm going to dance on the head of a pin, and I'm going to say neither, because I don't know which. Just got here. What did Sam Seder say? I may change the name of this. It was checking out the video earlier. Luca Clemente sent me a video of Sam Seder, essentially saying that he would vote for a candidate who was going to build Nazi death camps, or who was going to build concentration camps. I was just making a point that if you're okay with your husband beating you and kicking you and slapping you, if you're okay with those things, if you're going to be there when he cheats, if you're going to be there when he's doing heroin, if you're going to be there when he's not washing his hands and yet he feels the need to touch your face, if you're going to be there in all those situations, then your husband has no reason to change, and he's going to continue to do those things. If Sam Seder is willing to vote for somebody who's going to put in concentration camps, what you're going to find is you're going to continuously get concentration camps. Aren't over 50% of registered voters independent now? Yeah. Why not everyone run independent? They want the party apparatus. The party apparatus. That's a big advantage. It's like all the infrastructure itself. Dax Jacobson, Jamarl, did you see the movie Marshall? I did not see the movie Marshall. I know a little bit about Thurgood Marshall. I haven't seen the movie though. Tomosa Young, you're a damn good wife. Emma has Trump derangement syndrome really bad. Oh, does she? Oh. Hi. Love your Debbie analogy of Democrats and progressives. My Debbie analogy? What's a Debbie analogy? Oh, you mean the person getting abused? That's called a Debbie analogy. It just seems to fit. What am I missing? And just put it in context. If you're a party, as a party, shouldn't you have a test of legitimacy? Meaning, either you're going to win because people are putting their vote down. This is a person who I want to go into that office. Part of that test of legitimacy is having a philosophical basis, and as a party, representing that philosophical basis. If you can't win seats, which they're barely winning. I mean, they won in Virginia, but that was after losing thousands of seats. And you no longer represent the interests that you scream that you represent. You've lost all rights to legitimacy at that point. And even if you go down the line, at which point do you say enough? They cheated you. They lied through their teeth about cheating you. Not just lied through their teeth about cheating you. I kind of also made this point that they don't represent the interests to which they say they represent. They're being bribed, they're leaning a particular way, and they're just telling you whatever they need to tell you to get you to vote for them. Being least worse is a political strategy. That is not a strategy for getting anything done. It's like, at least not anything good. Not to mention, after which, they screamed at the top of their lungs that they were united, that they needed to form a unity commission, even though they were supposed to be united. 15 million people fled their party, and yet they're screaming, we're united. We're united. Once people stop watching, they start purging progressives. If you supported Bernie or Ellison, they start purging progressives. The question becomes, at the Unity quote-unquote Reform Commission, are they going to get rid of superdelegates? Are they going to get rid of these closed primaries? And if they don't, what is your recourse? The Sam Seders of the world are going to continue to vote for him. That's kind of my point. At which point do you say, I've had enough. I don't necessarily know what I'm going to do, but I am not with you. I would say being willing to say no is a monstrous and violent act, particularly just because it's something new and it's something different. That's all. It's, again, I have no qualm or anything else with Sam Seder. I just disagree with his strategy. The woman said she was raped because her lover was black, so they had to prove it was not rape. Yeah, I've heard about women doing that before. Skip Rock, Bob Ramirez. You get fired for not having Trump derangement syndrome from at any mainstream media outlet. TYT is a corporate media. It's corporate media. Tomosi Young, don't fall for the vote for the least worst. Ralph Nader, agreed. Yeah, agreed. It's not a matter of if, it's when they won't get rid of superdelegates and close primaries. Brian, yeah. Look, I am skeptical that they're going to do that. I don't know what pressure you have. I just don't know what pressure you have. If Bernie Sanders would have told them, I don't want anybody to vote for these Democrats in Virginia until they get rid of superdelegates and open primaries. That's been a little bit more aggressive. That's taken the chance that Democrats may lose, but I would argue that Republicans are your best brick. They're your best brick. Yeah, it's not that I want Republicans in office, man. It's not that I want Republicans in office. I disagree that nonverbal no's can be interpreted as verbal no's. I have learned that people use facial expressions can be deceiving. Use your mouth. I am not a damn mind reader. Oh, wow. I gotta be honest. That is slightly erotic, and I'm not quite sure why. I know why it is. It's because from the perspective that Rebel Cage Rattler is giving, she's being the aggressor. I have learned that people's facial expressions can be deceiving. Use your mouth. I am not a damn mind reader. From the perspective of I can't read your mind, so I need you to use your mouth. I need you to use your words when I am pawing and having my way with you. That's so awesome. That's awesome. Let's see. Nader advocated voting for him. Third party. Yeah, third party. My best vote went to Jill Stein. Same here. I voted proudly. Best damn facial interpreter, Tomosi Young. That's funny. The fall of Jordan Chariton. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Without Remorse 12. That's brutal. Then how? Our plurality. Can't get it out. Plurality. First past the post-voting system has a lot to do with why they have two parties. Yeah, agreed. Not to mention the other. Use your fist if they don't get it. Yeah, I said before, she should have punched, what's his name, in the balls. Al Franken. She should punch Al Franken directly in the balls. I'm doing some shit like that. It's one thing if you guys... I've made a pass at a woman who I had messed around with in the past. Like her and I had relations. That's a little bit different than you just randomly creating a pretext so you can stick your tongue down somebody's throat. They're not getting mad when they don't reciprocate. Corporate masters don't want to pay more in bribes. Two parties, yeah. Being able to fuck with Jenk is the best part of Jordan news. That's fucked up. That is kind of fucked up. You're like, oh, Jordan being accused of sexual assault is awesome because it gets on Jenk's nerves. That's pretty fucked up. That's really fucked up. Yeah, that's pretty fucked up. It's funny, but fucked up. Gotta have the Rorschach. Yeah, mentality. Yeah. What, being willing to be destroyed by Dr. Mad? Bob Ramirez. So in other words, throw away your vote or just stay home. Got it. Yeah, as opposed to being a doormat. Yes, if that's how you want to cast it. It's not really throwing away your vote. Throwing away your vote means you have no value for that particular vote. I don't think you can empirically say that particular vote didn't necessarily have any value. A vote is a cognitive thing. That's true. The government itself is a cognitive apparatus. That's also true. Your vote, to some degree, is your approval. I am giving you my approval for X. What are you approving when you're voting for whatever candidate you're talking about, Bob? If your vote has the capacity to threaten one of the major parties, then you're relevant. It's not that I think it's awesome, again, for a Republican to win. But if one of the candidates lose because you're voting for somebody else, then your vote wasn't irrelevant and your vote wasn't a waste. Told you I'm not the typical female. I don't whine and complain about men not reading my mind. I am a damn adult, and it is my adult responsibility to speak up. That's only fair to a dude. Fair enough. You are not a shrieking valid. Fair enough. Voting for the lesser two evils is throwing away your vote. Agreed. Replicate rather. Dax. What did Dax say? Yeah. It was funny. That is funny. That is kind of funny. It's fucked up, but it's funny. Saying throwing away your vote is a defeatist, in my honest opinion. Yes. Kamala Harris and Cory Booker will be 2020 ticket. They'll go to 100% identity politics. DNC thinks everyone on the left will vote for light-skinned black people with a D after their name, no matter what. Well, if your name is Sam Seder, you will. Rebel Cage, rather. Every day and several times a day if I am lucky to Mosey Young. Why? What? Oh, you come here often. Okay. I was like, what? I didn't know what that was an answer to, man. I didn't know what that was an answer to. What's going on? I just got here. My existence is a momentary lapse of reason. I fucking love that name. Love that name. People seem to think voting is Bozo's circus where third parties are almost winners instead of perpetual losers. Orthidium? Jamarl, do you prefer a knight or bishop? Just curious. I prefer whatever allows me to win that goddamn game. Yeah, I don't have a preference. It just depends on the position. Hey, you, hi. Homeland Security is in charge of elections. I might have misread. No, you didn't misread. You did not misread. Alright, it is... Oh, God, it's after 2. Alright. I am going to kill this stream. It is after 2 in the morning. Not to mention I had a 4-hour stream with what's his name. I just wanted to talk about this particular one because Luca Comlete sent me that video and I thought the video was awesome. Sam Seder wagged his finger at Jimmy Dore over this bad strategy. And I'm talking about Sam Seder's bad strategy. Jimmy Dore was right. Now we are less than a year into the Trump presidency. And this may go radically bad. So don't misunderstand me. There are consequences for Trump being in that office. But there are also consequences for continuously voting for the lesser evil, particularly when you're willing to do whatever it is to vote for the lesser evil. I don't care what happens. The Democrat will get my vote. Slap me, beat me. I ran into a door. So I will end it here. Oh, thanks, X Factor. I appreciate it. I wanted Terry to answer my question, but Terry may have gone by now, so it's fine. I'll find her at some point, and I'll put the question to her. All right, guys. If you enjoy the content, feel free to share, like, and subscribe, and of course, you can always support the Patreon. Thanks, everyone.